everyone, and welcome back to another down low, down home episode of Internet Genius. I tell you what, we're here to talk about all the things that make you a smarter person and obliterate everything that makes you anything to the contrary. I am your host and moral icon and arbiter and leader, best guy ever, Nate Bestman. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us here. And I am joined today only by one other genius, the furtive Noni. Noni, welcome.
Everybody else managed to finally run away, get away from the grass, but my chain is solid. There is no
That's
escape
true.
for me.
Your chains are thick. They're made of, what do people make chains of? Mithril, adamantium, unobtainium. The unobtainium chains are really doing their job here in the studio. Let me tell you, folks. So send more Patreon bucks at patreon.com/internetgenius and have your name etched on the individual links of unobtainium chain that we use to chain Noni to his desk, where he will one day edit, but not yet, because I still have to do it for complicated technical reasons. The point is, we need your money. So go to the Patreon and give it to us so we can avoid technical flubs like this in the future. Let me see what else is going on. Hey, it's still Natriot Awareness Month, everybody. Congratulations that you've survived this far. Few can say that they've made it to this point in Natriot history, but just keep on trucking and keep on thugging, and next year we'll do it all over again. I don't know what it means, but it is happening, and that's a start. Moving right along. What else is going on? Oh, and of course, just a big fuck you to He Who Copes, arch nemesis of the show. May he eat shit and die for all time. Rest in piss, buddy. In his presumably mansion. I assume he's doing great in all things in life. The Lord's a little bit confused on this, but I seethe every day. I seethe every day thinking about it.
I think more of a secured bunker, you know? If his
that's possible. Well, to avoid my
believed.
wrath, that's where I would go, personally. So, you know, kill him. If you see him on the street, murder him immediately. That's what I would recommend in Minecraft, but also in real life. Real life has become Minecraft. One last update. People have been asking for it, and we have graciously delivered it to you. Spotify and other podcast platforms, Apple, Amazon Music, Internet Genius is now proudly hosted for your listening pleasures. MP3s available on the old RSS feed type shit, and you can now listen to it however you care to, at your job, while nursing your baby at your breast, letting it suckle, while nursing your 18-year-old live-at-home son at your breast and letting him grow large. All these things can be enabled by Spotify. Spotify endorses this behavior actively, and we do too at Internet Genius. You need milk to use your brain, folks. So that's what's happening right now. Okay, anyway, yes. Audio platforms, go listen to the show there if you care to, but do it on YouTube actually, so that we can, as soon as we're approved for money, get ad revenue, which is going to be totally sick once that actually happens. So we need like 1,000 subs. Guys, please, brothers and sisters out there, just all I ask is you fucking subscribe to the channel to get us 1,000 subs. Beyond that, do whatever the fuck you want with your life, okay? But subscribe, like, comment, subscribe right now. Ring the cotton-picking bell. But no, seriously, subscribe so I can make money off of talking into this microphone, okay? Do it right now. We're not moving on until you subscribe. Thank you for doing that, everyone. I appreciate that at home. Okay, preamble aside, we're done with all that. We are here today to have yet another stalwart episode in the month of video games, our inaugural month that may be ending today. We'll find out. We are talking about Expedition 33. That's what we're here to discuss. We were talking about it a little bit before. I think in the episode 1, we thought we might have a little argument about it. Me and Noni, I did some research. You have your thoughts about it. And we believe that we have something of substance to debate about this game. And we may be calling this episode the Expedition 33 Debate. Something along these lines. Because I don't know if you folks at home know much about the game. It's a small indie game, little developer, not a lot of people worked on it, just a small baby team of 10,000 ex-Ubisoft employees or whatever the fuck it is. And they made a game and they won Game of the Year. Hey, congrats for them. Silksong should have won, but that's okay. We love movie games. Hooray, I'm a movie fan. Please kill me immediately. So the big deal with this game is that there's lore that makes people debate intensely about specifically the ending and just kind of as it relates to like the entire story of the game. So like we're going to give you guys a primer on what the general story is so that everyone can follow along here. Feel free to use the time codes if you know all the story and you want to skip to like the actual debate or whatever. I'm sure it'll be marked clearly. But we're going to go through overall details of it, lay things out, and get you guys lined up to knock it out of the park with some epic memery and epic hot takes on this story, which has been largely contentious. Noni, I don't know how much you followed the discussion here, but like, have you seen lots of people arguing about this? I came into the game late, so I think I kind of missed like the window of like the big burst of, discussion when it first came out. I played the game because you recommended it. So yeah, you have any thoughts going into it here?
I think, it has the same contention on a smaller scale, obviously, because this is not like a similar thing as like the Ava 4.0 movie,
Oh, Jesus. What a comparison.
Yeah.
Don't sully Expedition 33 by comparing it to such an odious property.
Absolutely not. We'd never do such things. But there is, there is two sides of the coin. Some people that think, the ending is so poignant. It relishes the teams. It actually completes the story. It's so like, coup de grace. How could they even, surpass it? And, there is I think, videos such as made by Never Knows Best that are like a bit more perhaps pretentious, that, call out the game for being the piece of shit it is.
Wait, you mean the game? Are you talking about Ava or Expedition 33 now?
Expedition 33 ended.
Oh, okay, yes. I did. We did both watch Never Knows Best video, and it was interesting. And I watched like a bunch of interview stuff. I watched those guys, Resonant Arc. I think they had a bunch of videos. Those guys were cool. I liked what they have a whole podcast. People should go check out if they want extra details, because some of this information was gleaned from like watching these guys. And so yeah. But we've come to our own original thoughts here. At least I have. Noni's probably ripping off everybody word for word, as far as I know. But that's just the genius way, guys. What do they say? Geniuses steal. They don't come up with shit on their own. I think that's the saying, right? Something like that. So that's what we aim to do here today. So you're saying that the ending is considered bad. That's your contention.
Obviously, there's two endings to the game.
Right.
There is contention about one ending, which I think is the one you like, because the game...
Okay, well, let's save on what we like until later. Yes. But so you're saying one ending's considered bad and the other's considered good?
On some level, yes. Or
okay.
One ending, honestly, I think some credits like one ending is bad, one ending is underbaked.
By the way, when you say bad, you mean like it makes the game unsatisfying that this is what happens?
To me, yes. Absolutely to me.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not going to preach to the choir. I don't represent any group of people other than the geniuses, obviously.
Yeah.
I speak for my own. The ending of the game, both of them are highly
I'd like to speak for the entire white race here today, folks. I will be bringing the white race's take on this game.
Oh.
Get ready, folks. You're not going to like it.
The French people take on the game, perhaps.
Yes, you provide the French. You speak a little French, right? Like a little bit, right?
No, I speak French.
Okay, you're a resident French expert. So once again, genius, knocking out of the park here. We've got the people who can comment on this meaningfully.
4 funny evil languages. But no.
Right.
Hey, I speak my own thoughts.
One day you'll learn English. One day you'll get English down, and then the people will love you and embrace you. It's going to be an exciting day once we get to that point.
I will stop being a voice cell someday. Not now, but someday.
No, certainly not. So, okay, that's interesting, because, like, I'll just say right now, this really is going to be a debate, like, about the ending and, like, going over details and stuff, because I have a lot to say about it. And it's definitely interesting. I'll just say right now, it's good, meaty, philosophical discussion type stuff. So I guess right now is a good time to say, spoiler warning, we're definitely spoiling the entire game, all like the really big stuff that happens. This game is worth experiencing. I haven't played like a big, meaty JRPG. It's a little shorter than some, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. It's not about that. It's a good game. Fuck the cutscenes. Once again, they're way too long. I don't care. Shut up. Just give me some fucking text on screen I can click through rapidly. It's just as good for me. I think there's like I was watching like some of the ending cutscenes again today, and I was like, oh, these are like good. I like this, even though they're movie game stuff. But like because it's the ending, everything that's happening here like actually works for me. Sort of like you know, in terms of the intellectual content of like the characters' expressions and their poses, it all meant something. That was not the case for most of the game, though, where like those little bullshit oh my god, who gives a shit? So I kind of feel that this game, again, to bring up my criticism from like our first episode about good recent games, like they were so captured by the idea of making like an epic movie game where there's like depth and meaning that like it definitely works for the big emotional moments for the most part, but it really does not work for, I would argue, like 90% of the game where you're actually playing it. Unlike a game like Silksong, which just is cohesive the entire way through, which is why it like artistically elevates that game over this one. But there's like sort of less to debate. The philosophical stuff in Expedition 33 is really good, or Clair Obscur. So that's, you know, that's something pretty good going on. But in any case, we'll have lots to discuss about it. Use time codes to skip around people. Yeah, and I just want to say again about whether the ending is like good or bad. I think that the ending is cool and good. I think that both choices are cool and good. I will just say that one of them, I mean, it's pretty, like, obviously wrong to me. And I guess, was that the criticism that Never Knows Best also said? I think that was it, right?
I can't speak for that video, Nate, because I'll be honest with you. I listened to a little bit of it, but I wanted to have my
that's
own
fine.
take.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's fine. Not a big deal either.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said or what other people said, frankly. I do remember Resonant Arc had a good, like, in their podcast, just discussing both sides and, like, debating the overall stuff. And by the way, I'm sorry to break it to those guys and everybody else, I have a way higher IQ take on this whole thing than everybody else, which, by the way, is totally on brand. So it just totally makes sense. We are way beyond the level of discourse here on this show that other people are having. Is it real? Is it not real? Embarrassing stuff right there. We will blow way past that rapidly as we get into it.
Tisk.
Indeed. I look down on them. There are a couple of standard deviations below us on the IQ charts. What are you going to do? It is what it is. But you're here, so you've made it. You've made it to the high IQ promised land. Welcome, brother. Now keep going and raise your IQ further at patreon.com/internetgenius. That's the next step, baby. Okay, let's talk about the general premise of the story for people that don't know. And we're going to do the super condensed version and just basically skip to the ending because we're not here to endlessly go over and jerk off all the little details that happen. All right, so the main plot of Expedition 33, you're presented with a world, and we did this a little in the first episode, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You're presented with a world where there's a bunch of expeditioners, which are your people living in what sort of looks like a Paris, France type city or something. And the world is totally a mystery. It's called Lumiere. It's not called like Paris or whatever, but it's obviously very French inspired and stuff. And they're like, the first thing you do is you go to this party and you go look out. There's a big monument. It has the number 32 on it. And everyone's like, today's the day the thing happens. And then they all go to the party. They look at the monument. The number then ticks it was 34. It ticks down to 33. And in the crowd, everybody that is 33 years or older instantly like melts away and dies. They all die. So there was nobody older than 34 who was there already. And now everybody 33 and up just dies. And they're like, this has been happening every year. Like since it was at like 100 or like 00. So since it's for like 70 years or like 67 years or whatever it is. So that's been happening. And you guys, you expeditioners, you residents of Lumiere, like there's only young people left now. Again, this is Unk Slop the game for millennials. We are so seen, 30-somethings. It's happening. It's our time. We're making the games now. We're breaking the conditioning. And you and your boys are doing what the other expeditions have done. Your Expedition 33, the monument says a big 33 on it. You're going out to figure out what's going on and stop what appears to be what they call the Paintress, which is a giant lady that appears to like paint the number on the monument way far away. You don't know why. You don't know what's going on. You don't even really understand the world that you are in. You just know that there was like the fracture or something like that. Like that, you know, like 67 years ago, whatever it was, when the world got all fucked up and broken up, and like old Lumiere became Lumiere, new Lumiere, where you live now, like far away from the original location, I guess. So that's what's going on, and you just have to go figure out what the hell is going on. All right, so that's the short premise. You begin your expedition right away. And you and your boys, who are all, basically it's like all 32-year-olds. Again, I feel so seen, so valid. It's me and my people. And because like the generation that's about to die the next year are the obvious choices of people that will go on this journey, because they would die in a year anyway. So it's like they might as well use their life to try to figure out what's going on and, you know, whatever, solve the problems that are out there. And so you and your boys go, but there's also one younger girl with you, this girl named Mael. And she is like your adopted younger sister or something. And she's just there to say like, hey, I was adopted by Gustav, like not the leader of the expedition, but an important guy. He's like the main character at the beginning, blah, blah, blah. I want to come too. I'm 16 years old. I choose to do this with my life because like I love Gustav and want to be with him or whatever. He's like my big brother and I care about him. So they let her go because, I don't know, 16 is the age of death consent in France, I guess. So that's what they're doing. So that's what's happening. Classic Europeans. So they go on their expedition, and right away, like at the very first stop on this journey through the continent, as they call it, they meet an old man that immediately kills almost everybody in the entire expedition except for like 3 of you. They get split up, they meet up together. Gustav lives, your main guy, who has like some tech stuff that's relevant to the plot, which is why it's good that he's there. He lets you like do this kind of the power up stuff to make you guys stronger with Pictos or whatever the fuck it is. It's like materia kind of from FF7, just like the power up system for the game or whatever. He's responsible for it. And then you meet Lune, this Asian girl, and Seal, who's a redhead, Spanish? I don't know what the hell she is. And you eventually meet some other people that join you on your journey. And so you guys don't die immediately after this point. You like actually make progress on your journey from this point on. Okay, I'm now going to do huge, massive spoilers. So again, you can leave now if you want. But as you're on this journey, Gustav just dies. Gustav is killed by that old man whose name is Renoir, who we find out, whatever, is doing stuff, trying to stop you from making it further on your journey to get to the Paintress. And this guy, Verso, a very gameplay similar kind of guy with similar hairstyle and whatnot, he just joins your team. And this guy is from Expedition 0, who was on, like, the first journey. You know, he's an important guy, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. He's here to help you. He's like, oh, shit, Gustav dies, but I'll help you because I feel like helping you now. There's more reason to that, but we're not going to go into that right now. And let me see, who else is missing from this? You also meet Monoko. Monoko is just like he's like a gestrel, which are these weird like paintbrush people that are like native to this world. And who am I missing? Who's the other member of the party? I'm forgetting. Lune, Seal, Verso, Monoko. Who the fuck am I forgetting?
Mael.
Right, Mael, of course, the 16-year-old girl. That's right. I totally forgot about her. All right, so that's your party. 5 dudes are on their quest to kill the Paintress or figure out what's going on. Oh, and you also meet this big guy called Esquier, who's like a big, I don't know, teddy bear. Looks kind of weird, but he has like basically flight, and he can swim, and he's like your transportation. He's very helpful, very useful. He's like a native monster of the world, basically. And it's just a good time to mention that this world is totally fucked up and weird looking and abstract. And you later conclude that like, oh, everything is very painting themed. Everything is like, it's been designed by like an artist. What's that about? We'll find out soon. In fact, we're going to find out right now. Here's the next massive spoiler of the game. Turns out the world that you are in, this is revealed, you know, as you go on and learn stuff. Like, Mael has revelation as she remembers things. The world that you are in is a fake world. It is a magical painting where in the real world, in, like, the real Paris, France, where, like, you or I live or whatever, like the game version of it, there is a family called the Descendre family, and those guys just all have magical painting powers. And one of them painted this canvas that is the world where the game is taking place right now. And most of your party are like painting people that are native to this painted world, not to real life of Paris, France. So the reason your world looks like a fucked up version of Paris with like a crooked Eiffel Tower is because it's all not the real Paris. It's a painting version of it where everything is fucked up and weird and like abstract looking. So that's what's going on. And Maëlle, the girl in your party, the reason she's exceptional or whatnot, as you know, like the people are paying attention to her and she matters. So Maëlle is actually a member of that Descendre family. She is a painter like the rest of her family. And she was someone that traveled into the painting, which, like, they can do that. The painter people can travel into the painting and, like, do stuff there. They can control the world to some degree. They're kind of like gods in this world, and whatever. We'll find out later as to why she's here. So, yes, you're journeying to defeat the paintress who is, like, killing the people of this world. But Maëlle is not like the people of this world. Maëlle is special. She's from outside, and she can leave. It is something that is possible for her to do. She didn't live here originally. Okay, other lore about why this matters. So it turns out the paintress, it is eventually revealed, is Maëlle's mother. By the way, Maëlle is her fake name because she was born in this world. Her real name is Alicia Descendre. So she's actually Alicia, or however you fucking pronounce it. And her mom is the paintress, and the paintress is doing all this weird shit in this world because her son Verso, who is in your party, actually, that's not the real Verso. That is a painting fake version of Verso. Verso actually died in real life, in like the real Paris, France, some time ago, and Maëlle, or Alicia in real life, was wounded in the fire that killed him, and it's implied like maybe she was like sort of responsible for it, so it's unclear, in some sort of conflict or war with these people called the Writers. So there's the Painters, which are the Descendre family that have magic painting powers, and these other guys called the Writers that they have some conflict with that we know nothing about. It's totally unclear what they are, what's going on with them. Okay, so whatever, that's happening. And now, Aline, whatever, is like the mom's name. The paintress is the mom who came into the painting to like, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, None, but isn't it to like be in the world where like Verso was because she feels so sad that Verso's dead?
Yes.
Right? Something like that?
In the real world, there is this family of the Descendre. They're painters. They have magical powers to create paintings that just straight up just create a whole other universe, essentially, a whole other world. Mm-hmm. That's their power. That's their shtick.
Right.
The members of the family, one of them is Verso. He's Maëlle's brother. He's Alicia's brother. We're just going to call him Maëlle for the sake of simplicity. He dies. And one of his last sort of paintings that literally has a piece of his soul is the world of Expedition 33. Mm-hmm. The mom goes in there to sort of connect with her son. And she makes like a fake family version of it. That's the Verso in your party. The Verso in your party is the mom's interpretation of him, essentially. The sort of like, she's living in this delusion where she created a fake painting version of her family in this Verso painting. And she's just gonna live there, and that's how she wanna spend her time. Maëlle goes in to save her, but because she's her willpower, her indomitable human will is actually pretty dominable. So she gets wrapped into the world and forgets that she's actually a real person. So she
was sort of young and weak when that happened. So yeah.
Young and weak and missing, half her face and body was just burned. Not the best
she's
situation.
All fucked up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The death thing that happens to the people of Lumiere, to the people of Expedition 33, is not because of the painting. Is actually because of, drumroll please, her husband. The real version of Renoir. He goes in and he starts, I'm going to destroy this world. Honey, you need to get out of here. It is bullshit that you want to live in this fake funny painting world. Mm-hmm. The number the painter keeps painting every year is a warning to the people of Lumiere about guys, this dude is destroying the world. I can't stop him. I can't stop him. And that's sort of the context of the conflict here. You have the mom who wants to live here, who wants to just, exist with this part of the soul of her son. you have the dad who's like, I'm gonna destroy this place because it is unhealthy for you two to exist here.
Right. So that pretty much sets the stage for what's going on, why people are dying. This is like the grand truth, basically, that's discovered by the expedition, by, the people playing the game, obviously. And what that sets up the inevitable conflict about, like, okay, so what actually is the right thing to do? Who's right? The mom that's here, like, living in this, like, sort of fantasy world, like, is there anything wrong with that? Versus the dad, who's like, this is unhealthy, this is bad, and I'm going to get rid of this world so that you will come back to reality as he perceives it. And so this basically sets up the debate that is had at the end of the game. So the developers and, the people that worked on the game have said various things, some of which are kind of hint one way or another. I think they're a little bit inconclusive. The pretty clear takeaway from the director, French guy whose name I forget, who's a pretty cool guy, and I respect him. I like what he did, is that they really don't want you to know, I think, initially, what's obviously the correct way to go. I think they wanted you to have to sort of judge and question what's right and what's wrong, because all this leads up to the end of the game, where you are presented with a final choice. Verso, aka painting, fake Verso, versus Alicia, aka Mael, in a final clash in one world, where you, the player, get to do the classic video game thing where you choose who to play as, and whoever you choose there fights against the other, defeats them, and enacts their will. Mael, if you choose Mael wants to keep living in the world of the painting because, like her mom, she's like, this is where, like, Verso's still kind of alive. Enjoying, like, the company of Verso, of, like, her new painted family, by the way, because, like, she was sort of, like, born as a new child in this world. She is still Alicia from the world outside, but she has, like, a life here, and it's more or less the only world she's ever known. She does remember the world outside the painting eventually, so it's not actually the only world she's ever known. But to her, this is, like, more real and more important than the world she has outside. But her dad wants to free her.
Yes.
And it's important to mention, her dad's like, to be clear, you will die, is what he says, if you stay in here for too long. He says that about the mom who's been in here, and he says it about Mael. Both of you can't stay in here, you'll die. So that's an important, piece of information. So that's what Mael wants to do.
But we'll get to
it. It's unconfirmed, but this is a claim, and that's very important, by the way. So we'll come back to that claim.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Verso. Yeah, okay, you want to comment?
Yes, Verso. I want to mention Verso. Here's the thing, just to, like, give a cleaner sort of just timeline of events here. You and your boys go on the expedition. It's like, damn, we gotta solve the painter's mystery. Aha, Gustav fucking dies.
Right.
By your fake Mael dad, whatever, the painted version of Renoir or whatever.
Yeah.
You do your JRPG quest. Verso joins you. He's like, guys, we gotta stop the painting. Obviously, she's destroying the world. He shrugs at you, being all mysterious and weird. You defeat her. Verso doesn't tell you anything. He knows all this lore that we're expounding here. He knows all the twists. He knows all the lore.
Correct.
He doesn't tell any of this because you have the assumption that the painter is the one destroying the world, and you're like, gotta stop that bitch. You do it. You kick her ass. You're like, damn, we did it. The world kind of gets destroyed. Mael gets back her memory. She kind of, like, does a willpower fight against her dad, and she managed to put a pause on that for now.
Oh, but and when you say the world gets destroyed, as in, I guess what Renoir had been trying to do this whole time is everyone dies. All the humans get gommaged, or, like, Thanos snapped, and they, like, all die when this happens. But Mael brings a couple back because she's, like, awakening her painter powers.
Yes,
so,
she awakens her painter powers. She brings everyone back, and she kind of, like, essentially, because she doesn't want the world to be destroyed, kind of like puts a pause on it. She kind of, like, switches positions with her mom in the grand cosmic conflict, essentially. So that happens. Obviously, you're like, hey, Verso, painted Verso. What the fuck? Why didn't you tell us any of this? You know all of this. What the fuck? And he's like, here is the thing. I might be a painted version, but you see, because I'm, so real, so based, I feel bad for our mom. Even though she's not my real mom, I have sort of like the responsibility to save you and save her. You know, you're my sister, she's my mom.
Right.
I might be just a fake version of your brother, but I still have those emotions that I want to save you both, guaranteed. So fuck my life and fuck the world's.
Correct. This is his position, yes.
This is his position.
And so that, go ahead.
You give him a bunch of shit about it, but then you kind of just honestly forgive him real fucking fast. Even the painted people kind of just like shrug emoji at it. Like, yeah, sure.
Well,
you kind of...
because once you know the truth, his position starts to make certainly more than 0 sense.
Yes. Yes. But to the painted people, like your other party member, because remember, only Mael is a real person in this party. So the other painted people are gonna die. You know, and they're like not cool.
If the painting goes away, they go away. Yeah, they cannot leave. That's true. They are trapped in this world intrinsically.
Yeah.
Mael. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, Mael kind of like gives him an anime speech, be like, "No, we gotta save the world. There must be a better way." And he kind of just nods at it. He just shrugs it. He's like, "Okay, fine. I'll help you defeat."
He's just nodding along with her bullshit. That's what's going on in his mind. Yeah. He's got his own agenda, no doubt.
He helps her. He helps her defeat, her real dad. Now, her dad is kicked out. Her mom is kicked out. She is god of the world. She meets Verso's part of the soul. She can control the world. She won. She did it. Painted Verso is like, hey, I had a change of heart. I think, honestly, I know, you gave me the anime speech. I know we just, defeated your dad and did all of this. I still kind of think he's right. And I think he should fucking leave. And that's where the ending happens, where he pulls out the sword and is like, let's fight about it. I'm going to save you, sister. And she's like, no, I'm not going to let you die, fake brother.
You and everyone else.
Yes.
Yes. So that's that's where you make your decision, who you fight for and which ending you pick, and it proceeds from there. And so if you do, I already described Miles. If you pick Miles, we'll go into the details of this in a little bit more, but if you pick Miles and you win the fight, you stay in the world, and people are alive again. A lot of the painted people that were dead are back alive again. Wow, great. But there's also, some concerning things about that as well. If you choose Verso, you do exactly what it seems like, what Verso wants to do. Verso defeats Mael, so he sort of kills her in the painting world, but that just kicks her back into real life. So she goes back to real life, and he, talks like Verso soul, and he shuts it down. He's like, hey, okay, we're going to stop painting now. The painting turns off, and it is implied that everyone in the painting dies, and the painting goes away. So it has got him, and everybody else within the painting is dead. All, your player characters, except Mael, they're all gone. And we then just see an epilogue of, Mael and her family back in real life, doing real life stuff. Continuing their lives in Paris, doing whatever it is. Presumably fighting the riders or something. So that's the basics of the choice right there. Hopefully that made sense to everybody. So, this is the debate. Who is right? Who is wrong? What is the right, certified internet genius approved ending of this game? This is finally what we've arrived at. This is what we are here to debate. And it kind of centers around one major question, which is the people in the painting. Are they real people? By the way, I'm just going to say right now, okay, this is the level 1, maybe even the level 0 question of the game. Are they real people? I don't know. Okay, we're going to get way past that, but this is this initial debate. Are they real? Is it bad of Verso to turn off the world? By the way, many people have made the comparison that it's like they're video game characters. Whoa, like the game you're playing right now. That's crazy. Yeah, and Verso turns off the console basically, so Mael can't play anymore on the video game. And and so are the painting people really alive? Do they have souls? Do their lives matter? And even that question aside, is Mael's life more important? Is her being in real life a bigger concern than the lives of the people in the painting? So these are the meaty discussion topics, but Noni, if you would like to give your answer to what you think is better, I would love to hear what you have to say.
I think, at least for this first question, we'll build it up. We'll build it up to
okay, sure.
To
we can go layer by layer.
Each of us will take.
Sure.
I think, as presented in the game, the people in the painting are real. There is no sort of doubt about motivations or free will, or like they're not automatons that like they need to like do the things you tell them. No, they make, again, biggest example that the people in the painting have free will is fucking Verso. He's a painted person. He was specifically created by the paintress to replace her dead son. He has the explicit purpose of protecting her and protecting the world and making it continue. And yet he makes the choice to just let go of all of that for the sake of Mael and the paintress. So I think that's a very strong argument to like the people in the painting are fucking real. Also,
pretty switched on brain thing to do, to choose to end your life to benefit somebody else. Yeah.
Also, it would kind of honestly make like the conflict and the message of the game like pretty hollow if, oh, these people are fake, it doesn't actually really matter. You know, there would be like any
in
real
many
conflict.
ways, yes. Now, that wouldn't necessarily make it not true. Like, there can be games that just have disappointing plot lines that retroactively make shit suck. But, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I don't believe this is one of them. I don't believe this is a... I think, like you said at the beginning of the episode, I think this is meant to be like, you know, thought about. This is meant to be like, ooh, which one is the right choice? And I think intentionally so, in the story, there is no like really easy answer. Like, these people are not just like, oh, they're fake, so it's okay. No. Like, the game goes out of its way to be like, nah, these have like emotions, and these are like your friends, and these are like, they make their own decisions here.
So let me just say that in my listening to podcasts and stuff, like, this is the main question that, like, the developers comment on specifically. Everyone's like, all the level 1, level 1 crooks are thinking about, like, are they real? Do their lives actually matter? And the developers are very clear that, like, they want you to think about that. That's sort of the basic level thing you're supposed to analyze. And I'll just give my take. Look, they're basically obviously real. It is there are lines in the game where like people say you talk to this little boy that I think is later revealed to, like, he appears in various places. It pretty clearly just is Verso's soul, as in like little boy form.
Verso's soul,
And so he might not know everything perfectly, but he just says at least one time, like, yeah, they have souls, they're real. But he also says that other people like Clea, his sister, who's also like a paintress, she disagrees. Or at least, like, the painting version of her that I think she just does disagree overall that the painting people have souls. So even within the game, the characters and the painters debate whether or not this is true. But for our purposes here in real life, analyzing this piece of media, I think we have no choice but to measure of a man-it, like in Star Trek. Like Data in Star Trek. Okay, do they think about stuff? Do they make decisions? Do they have, like, individual will? Do they, have consciousness? And, like, the answer to all of these things is yes. So they're as close to life as, like, anything could be, and I think you would be extremely hard-pressed to make a case that whatever they are isn't, like, virtually identical to life. So I just want to say right now, I fully grant them the status of live personhood. And I totally think that they are alive people, and I think it's kind of silly to think otherwise.
Yeah, also just thematically speaking, hey, the plot of, the meme, the plot of every JRPG, they do literally fight their own gods for their own freedom. So, like, that's even in there,
They sure do. They sure do. And again, now, they could be, I'm not going to say it's impossible, they could be automatons programmed to do those things. That's not literally impossible, but if you're cosmically judging this, like, you've got to when it comes to things that might be alive, you probably should just play it safe and be like, okay, they seem like they're alive to me, so, like, should we kill them all? Probably not. They seem alive. So if you could end the story by just, this is the point I was going to make before, if you could just end the story by, like, having Alicia, aka Mael, leave the painting, and then you don't kill everybody inside the painting, that's kind of a happy ending for everybody. But one, Alicia, aka Mael, is going to keep jumping back into the painting because she's kind of, like, addicted to it, like her mom was. It's got something. It's got this Verso sauce that they want so bad. But then also, if you leave, Renoir, the dad, will just destroy the painting. So you've got two choices, like, personally stay there and keep it alive, or destroy it. Like, those are the only two outcomes. So just want to say, like, it would be nice if you could just not destroy the world and let it keep going, but, like, that just isn't going to happen given the practical realities of the situation you're in. So yeah, that's interesting stuff there. Okay, so we've decided the internet genius has weighed in. They're people. They're basically people in every way that matters. And by the way, it's not just human beings. Like Esquier and the gestrals. There's lots of other seemingly conscious beings in the world of the painting. So, like, this is going to be complicated for me to address later when I get to some of the stuff I'm going to say, but they also seem maybe not, like, fully human thinking, but they're pretty, I don't know, they're, like, pretty intelligent, it seems to me. Do you concur with that?
Yeah.
Well, there's Minoko is a PC. Minoko is a player character, is based as fuck, and is way cool.
He's the most insane one. He is like truly like one-liner man for sure.
He's the foot guy. He loves the feet. That ha 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 ha. He's so funny. I laugh every time.
Yeah.
He's quirked up, but no, he's got like a family he cares about, and he's like just legitimately good friends with Verso. And if Verso's alive, then he is alive. That's yeah. And maybe he's not, but I think he is. So that's my guess right there. Okay, so all right, we've gotten to the bottom of that. Now, do you want to get to like the next layer of your point here?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Shall I, or do you want to go?
No, you go ahead. I fucking did the first layer. Now it's your turn to defend your villainous case.
Okay, well, I was kind of going to just state what I think is the correct choice here, and then I have like a list of reasons as to why that is. So if you want, I could just say it, and then we could like go through the reasons one at a time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So this is the big suspense moment. Okay. Look, it is a little complicated. You do have to think about it, but as the internet genius with the objectively correct on everything, it is 100% clear to me that Verso's choice is obviously objectively correct, and all the Mael cells need to kill themselves immediately for daring to dream that her ending could possibly be the correct one, okay? So let me just say right there, Noni, what are your thoughts on that, buddy? Are you gonna fight me in real life?
All I gotta say is, classic white man taking the genocide route, really living up to that ancestor
it's in my
of yours,
blood.
you know?
It's in my blood. I gotta do it, man. I call that being the winners. I call that being the victors, okay? And I wanna have victory all over this world.
The monsters of history, Nate says. Just like the great Solomon.
Solomon was based, and I feel that.
Truly,
I feel that deeply.
Kill them all, destroy them all.
It was the right thing to do. Let's go through my reasonings now, because to me, once you lay out this case, I just really think once you get to I'm going to talk about my positive reasons why this is correct, and then there will be like one or two reasons why the Alicia ending is obviously not correct. But we'll start with the harder stuff, why I'm right, which is not a hard case to make at all, but here we go. Okay. Reason 1. This whole painting thing exists because Mael and her mom are addicted. They are addicted to the painting. Guys, it's the classic Final Fantasy Tactics Advance type situation with Marsh being in the game world. It's not real. You got to wake up to the real life, man. Okay, Renoir makes this case a lot, and he's correct. They are addicted to this world that is not real. In this world, Verso is like sort of still alive. And, you know, it's a little hard to kind of understand, like, what's, like, so compelling about this world? I don't even need to know. Sure, Verso's like, hey, guys, it's not literally me. Verso is dead. You have to get over it. I guess they just love it anyway. I don't know, for all these other reasons. The case kind of works better for Alicia, a.k.a. Mael, who's, like, fucked up and she's, like, missing an eye and her face is scarred in real life because of the fire. But in the painting, she's, you know, powerful and strong and magic and all that stuff. But she is still literally a god that can make worlds in real life. So, okay, whatever. I don't know. But the point is, it's an unhealthy obsession. Guys, Verso is dead, okay? Again, I've got multiple layers, but I'm starting with this. Verso is gone. You've got to let him go. It is not good to puppet the corpse of a man and pretend that he's still alive when he is just deceased. Noni, would you care to respond to this point to begin with?
I think Verso's dead. That's a reality and the fact of it. But I think it goes a little bit deeper than just, well, this dude is dead and they're addicted to the world. Okay, sure, I'll give you that one. But does that mean literally the world needs to end?
Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll get to that, but we got to go one step at a time. Okay, because we'll get to the big points of that.
Also, I would like to point out right now,
yeah,
we'll get to it when we talk about the actual specifics of every ending, but Mael's case against Painted Versa, but like, hey, I'm not going to do this, is not... No, I'm gonna live here. Fuck the real world. No. Her case is like, here's the thing. We're gonna keep Mom out. She's obviously too far gone. That's fine. I'm not gonna destroy this world though. I'm gonna just keep it around. I'll exit, come back sometimes. That's it. That is her thing. Her thing is like, I'm gonna engage with this in a healthy way. That is the case she makes to her dad and versa. Now, does she live up to this high ideal? We'll talk about it. But that's her point.
Questionable.
Yeah.
Now, Noni, just so I understand you correctly, are you saying that any choice that a 16-year-old girl makes for herself, you endorse fully? I just want to be clear on the record right now. Is that a case that you're making right now? Worldwide? That sounds like the case. I'm just saying. That's what it sounds like to me.
Depends on the case. Also, she's not 16. She's technically, I guess.
She's only 16, guys. She's an innocent baby.
She's 33. She lives 2
She's
lives.
Not 33. Okay, real quick. Yes. I'm a little unclear on the timeline because, like, Maya didn't jump into the painting at the same time that her mom did. It was like later. So, like, I guess she was 16 in real life when she jumped in.
Yes.
Am I unclear on that? Like, she's 16 in the world of the painting, but how old, like, is she, like, in real life?
I think also, like, same age, like 17, 16.
But has more time, like, passed? You know, like, when she jumped in, it hasn't been years, I don't think, in real life.
No.
Okay.
They are. This is the other part that, like, actually, like, here's the thing, Nate. I'll play my card right now. You know, I'll bow. I'll
activate
show
your
you my hand.
card.
You know.
Okay.
The message about, like, addiction and grief and it's not healthy to hold on to. I kind of, like, honestly agree with your take about, like, you know, it's unhealthy to do this. It's etc. The fact of the matter is, Nate, in the fiction of the world, they're literal gods. Like
I agree. I agree
they're
with this
literal
take.
gods.
They are gods, and we will go into that.
Yeah, it's like Mael, like you said, the thing about time. Time we know for a fact doesn't pass as fast. Like her mom spent there like 70 years, and it's only been like a couple of weeks or months in the real world.
Couple weeks or months. Okay, that I was unclear on. But
like Mael didn't actually spend 16 years in the paint, and she spent 16 years in the paint. As far as the real world, it's like a couple of weeks or months. Yeah.
So I don't think you could make an argument that she's like sort of got the mind of, I guess it would be a 32-year-old, but like I don't think that's like her experiences as a person in the world of the painting don't like amount to an additional 16 years of experience that make her like effectively like a 30-year-old something.
No, but yeah,
right?
She is God. Yeah.
Okay, right, but she is godlike.
Yeah, she is godlike, and you know, it's. This is the problem. I think this is where the game is like kind of wants its cake and eat it too, because it's like, damn, it's unhealthy to hold on to grief, but this is like, and people like you mentioned the sort of comparison to like, video game addiction or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, that's fine. That's like a fine enough comparison. Look at the meta aspect of it. She is literally God, and her spending 16 fucking years in a painting is a couple of weeks outside. That is like, how do you even begin to quantify that?
And are you saying that therefore it's like sort of not a problem to do this?
I don't think it's as big of a problem as that. Like straight up.
Let's take that straight into the next point that I've got, because it ties directly into that. Okay, Renoir is quite insistent. Now, we don't have direct evidence of this, I don't think, but let's comment on it. That being in the painting will just kill you. This is issue number 2, reason number 2 to do this. Alicia just will die if she stays in the painting. And for this, I think we do need to look at Alicia's ending a little bit and bring up how, like, she doesn't look so good if you choose the Alicia ending. Something's a little wrong. And we saw, like, her mom. Yeah, go ahead.
She presumably, in her ending, didn't live up to her own goal, which is...
Right.
When she's fighting Verso, and he's telling her, sister, if you stay here too long, you're gonna die. Verso just tells her that. He's like, bitch, I don't want you to die. And she's like, no, Verso, I'll be fine. I'm not gonna live here like mom. Mom was like, Mom, I'm built different. I'll just figure it out.
That is her argument, yes.
Her argument is literally, I'll figure it out.
I'll just thug it out. I'll thug it out, no biggie. Yeah.
When we see her ending, I guess she didn't. She didn't live up to her own word, and I guess she just is living in the painting now and fully ignoring the real world.
And by the way,
100%.
Can I just point out that, like, I really think they shouldn't have done that. I really think they should not have, like, shown, like, how bad it looks for her, and, like, there's, like, the scary piano music and her face looks all fucked up. Like, why did they confirm that? Just don't confirm that, guys. Isn't that, like, better? But We'll come back to that.
Also, it's all in like Dutch angles.
Yeah, it looks real, and it's black and white. It looks horrific. It looks horrific.
My main, the thing, Nate, the core of my argument.
Dude, that's my argument right there. Scary music. Scary music equals bad. Okay, you want the happy music.
Here's my core argument, Nate. My actual, real genius argument.
Okay.
It's not the actual philosophical implication of either ending. It's the way the game executed them. We're presented with this moral choice, and it is so obviously like, hey, this is the one with the happy music where they all move on, and this is the one with the scary music where everything bad happens. And I'm like, I don't fucking like that. I don't like that at all.
Well, you can't cop out and pick like a technical choice as the best ending like that if we're gonna have like a meaningful discussion about the implications of the endings here. But I appreciate your point though. I understand that like, I really think they didn't quite do it perfectly if they wanted to keep it on an even keel as like what's, also, debatably which is correct.
Yeah. Also, up to this point in the game, I'll give them credit for this. Like, Mael is working to like do this, like versus like I'm gonna kill everybody, and then you kind of like manage to like sway him for a bit, but then he sees a part of his soul and like, actually I changed my mind. Right. So it's like the game does a pretty good job about being like, these people are real. This is your goal. You've lived with them for 16 years. Gustav, the thing, never forget, what it was the message for the entire game is like, to those who
come after?
Yeah, to those who come after. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, and it's like, you're meant to be immersed in this world. You're meant to be like, these are my people, and you're meant to make the choice. And
I agree.
Yeah. And then you get the evil ending, if you actually go with Mael. Then you get like the evil music, and actually she just lied, I guess. And she was...
All right, look. Yeah. I'm going to bring up, because it makes my argument look better, how evil that ending looks.
It is.
But like, we could also sort of be like, maybe it's... You could also say that it just looks bad. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks. Maybe it's actually like, okay, she looks a little weird and there's like scary music, but like maybe it's fine beyond that point. By the way, because that'll keep the debate more interesting. And it makes it like, see, this is we're past like, are they real or are they not real? Guys, that's level 1 baby argument about this game. It's more like, is the execution good? Are they making their argument well on both sides? Like, what are the moral conclusions that one can draw based on the pieces of information we're given throughout the game? So, like, that's what I want to talk about. And this, like, there was evil piano and Mael looked scary, so therefore it's wrong. Less interesting.
Also, it was black and white. Let's add that it was also black and white, and also it was all in awkward angles, which is like, really? Okay.
Dude, Verso's face. Okay, but we'll come to it. We'll come to it. So, look, if these guys wanted to stack the deck evenly, they kind of fucked it up a little bit by making it a little, like the evil code. Although, look, there are things in the other ending that also make people, on a first glance at least, like, not happy about what's going on. And, we'll touch on that in a little bit, I guess. But, okay, let's continue with the next point here. So, point number 3. Are you ready for this one? Verso's genocide. Was it really that bad? At the end of the day, many are asking this. Is genocide really that big of a deal?
This is the thumbnail.
If you want to know the truth about it, folks. Okay, let's lay out the case. Let's go through the numbers here, shall we? Okay, there's like 3 people that are alive that we care about at all. Okay, maybe like 5. For the record, Renoir had already killed every other human being in the... And he killed literally all of them. But Mael brought back like a handful of them. So there is like... So Seal and Lune are cool party member girls. We like them, okay? The big Esquier. Esquier's cool. And Monoko. Beyond that, so those guys were like... actually, I don't think Monoko and Esquier were killed. Were they killed and then brought back by Mael?
I think so. I think so. I think everything in the painting just...
I think they were.
Yeah, I think they were.
Does that imply that she brought back like all the the gestural NPCs? Did she do that also?
Presumably so. Here's the thing. Renoir is finishing... When she wakes up to her god powers, and Renoir is finishing the job. So he's still
So, okay, it's just, this is relevant for my I got my abacus out, I got my scale out, like, okay, this genocide, like, it's not great, but, like, how bad is it on the cosmic scale of things? Like, I think there's defenses that could be made to this. All right, so, like, most people are already dead at this point, so it's not like you're actively killing a lot of people. Okay, the people that you're killing, look, I love them, I appreciate them, But let's examine how limited their existence actually is. Sure, they could maybe live on in this fantasy world for all time, but this is where we have to actually judge the value of lives and remind ourselves that Mael is basically a literal god in a realm of mortals with a finite existence. Now, believe it or not, I'm not actually in favor of murdering mortals like willy-nilly like that for, maybe once in a while you got to do what you got to do, but, most of the time it's best to be avoided.
Hit the biblical flood at some point.
It's true. It has to be done. There's lots of good examples of it being done throughout history. Kind of got the job done if you want to know the truth about it.
That's the internet genius take. Genocide is actually correct.
It's just that sometimes your hand is forced.
Your hand is forced. Holy
you got to do what you got to do, man. And again, Mael's life as like a existence. I really want to describe her as God, maybe not a god. I don't know what she is she's like a higher level existence that transcends the world of the painting. So we've already said that like time is sort of like sped up and like compressed in the painting. Again, I concede these are real people. They basically have souls or as close as possible. So I'm going to just grant all that. But you've got to ask some tough questions about how much sacrifice is worth making to allow one of these higher level beings to just go and live her life far beyond the confines of just this painted world. And I really want to roll out the idea that like this is a doomed world. This world, and this is why the Genesis is actually not that bad, sort of seriously. This world is absolutely doomed. It is not going to last forever, no matter what happens. This is like a cornerstone of my argument here. This world is propped up on the shard of Verso's soul that still exists at this point. That soul is wavering and does not seem like it will last forever. I feel like it is going to fade relatively soon. Now, they don't discuss this in depth, but based on what we see of like our visual indications of like Verso's soul, I mean, how long has Verso actually even been dead, for the record? We're talking maybe a year in real life?
Yes,
maybe
I think
maybe
like
longer?
A year or two. Yeah, because her burns are still fresh, yeah.
Yeah, they're relatively fresh. I mean, they're healed, so they're not, not like that fresh, but yeah, so they're not like super old, blah, 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 whatever. Well, maybe a year, let's say. Like, if you look at the iconography throughout the game, everything about this world, like the gommage and like the creatures, they're all decaying. The entire world is clearly rotting away before our eyes. I do believe this is what's intended. Like when you look at like the soul of Verso, it's got cracks, it's got holes. Like I don't think that the world was designed cracked and damaged and rotting. I believe that it was designed whole, and because this world is fucked up and not even meant to exist in this way, with like Verso gone and it's not being maintained, and it's being fought over and ripped apart this way and that way with different gods coming in, the whole world is collapsing in real time, and it is going to fall apart sooner or later. Do you agree with me on that?
No, absolutely not. I don't agree
No?
with that point. Because,
justify that. Why do you say that?
Renoir is trying to destroy it. That is
True.
The plot of the game is that Renoir is actively trying to destroy it, and you can see it that once the painter dies, his one big sort of like cosmic, I'm gonna stop you, Renoir. Once she dies, suddenly everything goes dark, and all the environments, start like, that black ooze kind of like starts erasing them. And we also, here's the thing, in Mael's ending, even though it's spooky and evil or whatever, everything is fine as far as the environment, as far as the people, as far as the clothes, the colors, everything's just like...
Everyone's happy except Verso, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to Verso specifically, yeah. There is something to be said about that specifically, but yeah. I'm in disagreement. First of all, I don't think the world is doomed. I think the world is being destroyed because of the fight between literally 2 and now 3 gods, literally, shattering it apart. And we see that literally happen. Mael kind of rebuilds it. Like, for example, when she revives your party members, they're not like fucked up or homunculus or like, oh my god, she couldn't fully do it. Even as a small baby little god, they were just okay. It was not a could it even happen? They was just fine.
I hear ya. But what of Verso's soul itself? Is your contention, because it does look like it's rotting and crumbling away, like much of the stuff in the world does. Is your contention that would not be the case, that his soul looks like... you could argue that like it's not actually decaying, it just kind of looks fucked up.
I think this looks fucked up because it's a little shard. I'll say this. I think the
okay, because the shard. Okay, okay.
I think it looks fucked up because it's a shard, and I think the actual maintenance of the world has to do with like example. Mael recreated her friends, brought them back to life. The paintress painted a lot of things. Like a lot of the big monsters you fight, you later find out they were made by Renoir. All the weird fucked up big monsters, Renoir.
Ooh, dude, I just learned the lore of this. The Axons, like the biggest ones, were made by Renoir, but all the Nevrons, the like smaller guys, were made by Clea, specifically, your other sister. Not even by the other guys. So, what do you know about that?
Yes. So a lot of, I would say...
Or it they might have been made by... I just did this fight like earlier today, because I'm fighting all the super bosses now. Fun stuff, by the way. I'm finally being challenged by the game. I think it might be the painting version of Clea that is currently actively producing Nevrons in the world right now. Or, I don't know. I could be wrong about that. That was sort of the read I had. Because Clea is not there right now. But there is a painting version of Clea.
Clea is sequel bait.
Yeah, probably. We're gonna fight the writers, guys. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, Clea and the writers are definitely literally sequel bait, straight up.
Yeah.
We just keep seeing weird hints about them, about like Clea is actually the most powerful painter out there, etc., etc.
I've been saying this. This.
But to your point, Nate, I would say this. I don't think the world is doomed. I think the world is actively being fought on by literally cosmic gods, and that's why it's fucked up. And and if Mael is gonna be there, she can, repair it or maintain it or whatever. And I think Versus Soul does look the way it does because it's a literal shard. It's not the full person by like even a small chance. It's like just a sliver.
That's true. Okay, I mean, that lore is correct. The debate about why it's crumbling or not, that theoretically up for debate.
My second
Choose who you think is right, folks. Press S to spit on Noni and his foolish take on here right now in the chat. Thank
press
you.
the hard R to destroy
Press
this
the hard
game.
R for Noni's being right on this one. S's versus R's. Let's begin the genocidal war right now in the comments.
Okay, but
S for superior.
Actual second point.
Okay.
I would argue, Nate, even... And I think we're in agreement that's probably not doomed. But even if it is doomed, does that make this universe less valuable? Like, our own universe is, finite. Everything is finite.
Right.
Like, does that make it less valuable that it is finite? Is there actually anything infinite? Like, hey, Mael is a god, but they also age like humans, and there is no implications that they're, like, actually immortal or some crazy shit like that. Like, Verso literally dies in real life, so they're fucking killable.
Right. I mean, that's true. It's just that Mael could escape this world to, like, do other things, create other worlds, do all kinds of stuff. But just to answer your question, of course not, no. It doesn't mean that their lives are not valuable within the painting. I totally grant that. It's just, these other contextual things actually do matter on a, like, let's just say, for example, we knew the world was going to explode in real life in 1 week. I just think that would seriously change everyone's priorities for like what we value and stuff, And people probably start doing some not so great stuff if they knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we have. I would just like us to agree on this. There is no evidence in the game world itself that like it is ended. Example, I think it would be a strong argument for Renoir or Verso to be like, Mael, even if you stay here, it's Jova. Neither of them make that argument.
This is an interpretation. This is not confirmed fact. Yeah. I totally grant that. You're correct.
I feel it would be a pretty strong argument for either of them to make like, Mael, you're wasting your time if you stay here. The world is already doomed. Okay. They don't do that. So I have to assume it's not like it's not part of it. So yes.
Okay, I'm not going to totally say that I totally agree with that, because it's just, these people actually don't talk like that much about the details of what's going on here. So it's possible they don't get, like, Renoir's like, fuck you, I'm not listening, I'm ending this world, just fuck off, here we go.
Also, they do the anime thing, also, like, video game thing. It's like when Mael defeats him, he kind of just like, hey, you defeated me in an ideological, battle represented by our fight, so hey, make your decision, kid. You know what I mean?
Why doesn't he come back immediately?
Exactly. Literally, yes.
Is he, like, tired? Is he sleepy or something? I mean, what's... Is his ability on cooldown right now, and he's got to wait for it to reactivate so he can enter the painting again? Is that the logic?
That is part of it, because when you knocked him out, there's like a period where they're just knocked out. You know what I mean? That is a thing they mentioned.
Okay.
But also,
I mean, because that would explain it.
Yeah. Also, Renoir does concede. Renoir does concede and be like, you've defeated me in honorable JRPG battle, therefore I'm gonna accept your choice.
Well, I guess if okay, since Mael and company proved that they were just physically stronger than him, he actually can't stop her. And like he could maybe stalemate her. That's like possible, like he did with his wife.
Like he did with the wife. But again, I would like to repeat this. In the game itself, up until the fucking Mael ended, her argument to Renoir was like, I am built different. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna figure it out. And when she kicks his ass in honorable combat, he's like, he doesn't like, ooh, you're right. He's like, hey, I accept that you're strong. I accept that you can make your own decisions.
Right. And, you know, young women have never overestimated their abilities in any field in the past, so why start now? But I'm sure she's correct about that.
Man, what the fuck
to Snooki punching that dude on Jersey Shore, and that guy bodying her immediately. Epic reference from the early 2000s for everybody that remembers that.
There's also like specifically about that. There is also like
dude, Renoir, S for Snooki. The S's are stacking up. Okay,
the S's are stacking up. There's also like Renoir versus the mom, because like there is a real sort of friction in this family about the way forward, because Renoir is objectively like, I'm gonna do things my own way. Like, fuck what all of you think.
Dude, now that right there is a matriarch. If there ever was one, guys, we're bringing that vernacular back. He's a patriarch. He's a matriarch. Welcome to the family, dude. He's an internet genius for real. Okay, I'll go back to my case for that, but okay, go on.
But yeah, no. Hey, Mael, her whole argument. This is, again, up until the ending, the game is pretty consistent about this. There's sort of like the world is ending, blah, 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 big philosophical question. There is the part of like, ooh, he thinks Mael can't make her own decision. He thinks Mael is like weak and pathetic and a little baby girl. So like...
He sure does.
Yeah,
he sure does.
And part of the conflict is Mael being like, no, I'm actually based. Fuck you. I kicked your ass.
Dude, this is some end of Gurren Lagann shit
that
happens in this game right now.
It's like, okay, you have your first
part of the story where it's like the children will rule the future and make objectively good and improve everything, and old people are stupid and don't know anything. And then you get to the end and they're like, holy shit, they actually had a good fucking point all along, and we got to think about this shit a little bit deeper. Once again, we find ourselves in this position, folks.
Hey, all I gotta say is Mael is a Gurren Lagann fan.
Simone, another internet genius, recognized the limits of his reality. But okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Mael is a Kamina. Mael is a believer in the Gurren Lagann. She will go all the way, baby.
What happened to Kamina, Noni? What happened to him?
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. And died. He's buried in the dirt below him. And only Simone, who recognized the limits of reality, lives on to protect the actual reality. Kamina lived in the infinite potential of childhood and never actualized to a tragically limited and yet real version of adulthood. This is the tragedy of Kamina, of the youthful spirit of real life. You have to grapple with reality, folks. It does happen sometime.
But here is the thing, Nate. Here is the thing. If it wasn't for that based youthful spirit, we would all still be underground. If it wasn't for Mael.
Who said it, Noni? Who said that it's about the twin helix of the DNA between the blue pilled and the red pilled? I've been saying it for 10 plus years. We all know it's about a balance between the two. But you cannot simply forget about the limits of reality. You have to keep them in mind some of the time, or you're going to get everybody killed.
This is what it comes down to. Verso is a Rosyu, and Mael is a Kamina.
I know, it's kind of fucked up, but Rosyu had a point. At the end of the day, he did have a point. It's just that it's the eternal balance, right? There are some limits to reality, but you don't want to accept limits that are arbitrary, unhelpful, and like fuck life over for people that like could live in a better way. But it's the eternal struggle between the communists and the Rosyu. God, I wish someone had made a video about this sometime in the past. That would be so good to reference for a situation like this. Yeah, man, I link in description. Go check it out, folks. Indeed. Okay, I gotta get to my last and actually the only point that actually matters about everything I said before. I love doing this. Forget it all. All of it goes in the trash. None of it matters at all, except to make the one point that actually matters about all this. This is the true cell, the truth pill, folks. Press S to give me your spirit for the spirit blast. Okay, all right, here it comes. All right. the reality of the situation, the reason why Verso's choice is objectively correct is for this reason. What is actually happening in the world of the painting is that Verso's soul is being actively enslaved against its own will to keep other people alive. This is like the thought experiment of having, if you could make a perfect world by torturing one dude endlessly, and billions and trillions of other people got to live a happy life because of that, would that be the right thing to do? You just keep on torturing. This guy, his life's miserable. He isn't allowed to do anything. He is a slave, maybe not even tortured, just enslaved. Is that justice? Is that the right thing to do? My argument is that the people of the painting, I have great sympathy for them. They are real in every way that matters. But these people have no right to force the shard of Verso that simply wishes to move on to rejoin the rest of its soul at peace, to enslave him and shackle him to the endless task of keeping the painting alive. It could not be clear in Verso's ending. Verso, the real Verso, his soul, he wants to stop. He wants to be free. Verso, painting Verso, does nothing to coerce or force Verso to stop whatsoever. He merely asks him the question. I wrote it down. You're tired of painting, aren't you? And the child Verso simply nods. Verso offers him his hand, and he takes it, and he stops painting because that is what Verso wants to do. And to do otherwise is forcing him to keep him painting when he does not want to, making the entire existence of the painting world inherently unjust. And I am a man that loves justice, and we have to free Verso. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Everything else is slavery. And do I even have to bring up how in Miles' ending, she is literally enslaving Verso against his will to be a puppet for her entertainment? It could not be clear. Forget the fucking music and the spooky stuff. It doesn't matter. Verso deserves to be free. And by the way, could there be a more ringing endorsement of what Verso actually wants than literally Verso saying that this is what he wants? Yes, he's a painted version, but like, it seems pretty good. It seems like a pretty good version of Verso. Like, he'd have some information on what, like, child Verso. He doesn't coerce him. He just offers him to stop, and he wants to stop. Because again, Noni, this comes back to the beginning. This whole situation is so unnatural, is so bizarre. Verso is dead. He is gone. Everything here is a weird puppeteering thing to keep this attachment to Verso, who has departed this mortal coil, and to force a shard of his soul to keep existing, to keep this fake world alive. Again, it's not fake in any world that matters. It's just that they do not have a right to expect him to be their eternal slave in any facet. When he wants to end, I personally feel that the world is inevitably going to end no matter what, but maybe that's not even true. They do not have the right to force Verso to keep doing it, and all Verso has to do is offer him the chance to stop, and he immediately chooses it. There could not be a more clear sign that this is what Verso wants to do. He wants to rest in peace, and by God, we should let him do it. What is your response to that, Noni? Are you pro-slavery?
Well, you know, I have melanin. All of the slaves do come from Africa, so I don't know what to tell you.
All of them. That's my understanding.
Exactly.
You know, a bit of a Slav myself in my
who knows?
on my father's side.
Okay.
Can you possibly make an argument to the contrary on this? What could there be?
What could there be is one little thing, one little fucking thing, is that
Okay.
Verso, the shard of Verso has, as we see, its own autonomy. When Verso, like you just met, when Painted Verso asks, it's like, hey, you want to stop, don't you? And I grant you this. Painted Verso is pretty hell-bent on just dying. So there's probably some truth to it, because the dude is like just fucking suicidal, like point blank.
I think that's a useful data point that like Painted Verso, it's not the literal real Verso. So like it's fair, there could be differences, but seems like a good hint. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, throughout the entire game, we are, you know, constantly, and you mentioned with the thing about like, you know, Mayal thinks these people are like fully real, and her sister's like, lol, they're not, etc., etc.
Correct.
When Mayal like asks the shard of Verso, she's there with him, she's his sister, you know? When she's like, you know, keep painting, or like she just nods at him, was like, thank you, or something, he doesn't stop or cry at her or beg her to do anything. He just continues. You know, he doesn't. You know, the shard of him does not express any active outward desire to stop. Mael talks to it. Mael, you know, makes the same sort of gesture towards it that Verso does, painted Verso does, and yet the shard doesn't stop. Doesn't tell his sister, please let me go. Doesn't do any of those things.
No need's contention here, folks. If you merely cut out the slave's tongue, then it can't tell you it doesn't want to be enslaved. It's a brilliant strategy.
It does respond to Verso. It does respond to Verso. I'll say this. Here's my argument against it. I think Verso's shard, just like you know the funny echoes that we see of it in the world. You know, some part of it wants to leave, some other part of it don't want to leave, and that's why, at the end of the day, the people that make the decision are either Mael or Painted Verso, not him. There is no like third secret ending where the shard of Verso or his ghost appears and it's like, this is what should happen. This is my painting, this is what should happen. No, it's these people making the decisions. So trying to appeal to the higher authority of this uber god that is Verso's shard is slightly kind of pointless in my opinion.
Well, okay. Is this not a rather morbid way, a rather grotesque way at looking at a actual shard of a real living person / god / painting god?
Yeah.
He was a man, and now he's being treated as a piece of furniture, as a piece of engineering equipment, and that strikes me as fucked up. And I see there's lots of reason to think of this as like a creature with autonomy. By the way, can I just mention again on this argument about whether it has consciousness or not, or whether it wants things or not, Verso asks the question, you're tired of painting, aren't you? It nods in agreement, yes. Now, you could say that just because it's tired, it'd be happy to keep on going and go like this forever and, you know, never stop. But I would once again refer to like how grotesque this whole situation is, that there is a shard of a man being kept alive in an unnatural, bizarre state where it wants to rest. It wants to rest. It is clear on that point. Now, maybe it doesn't like need to, but that's what I think.
I would also like to point out that throughout the entire game, and I think this is honestly, Nate, this is a pretty like smart evil point to bring up. But I would also like to point out that we see this from, you know, Painted Versus perspective, ultra hyper suicidal, also kind of like, you know, in a sense, a creation of Versus shard, you know. It's kind of like, I think.
Well, that's creation of his mother, really. Like, she's the one that painted him, didn't she?
She uses the paint in the painting to do it. There is that too. That's why, like, you know, here's what I mean. I mean, like, when Versus shard like dies or explodes or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Every part dies, including the parts that like Renoir made and Mael made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seems to be the case.
Yeah, like kind of like he's the pool of paint they're using to like add to the canvas. But I was just like to point out, I think Versus shard in this case, we see it from Mael and her mom's perspective, and some of the echoes that we meet, and some of the stuff that Eskia tells us, and also like the monkey man that I keep forgetting his name.
Monoko. Yeah.
Verso loved this world.
He did. Yes, he did.
Verso loved this world. And whenever that gets brought up to specifically Renoir and specifically Painted Verso, they kind of just fucking dismiss it. They kind of like, nah. They kind of like, it doesn't matter. While Mael and her mom are trying to preserve this last part of their dead, you know, brother / you know, son. And Renoir is like, no, all of it needs to burn down. And all of them are like, no, Verso loved this world. We should keep it to honor his
But he doesn't
memory.
want to burn it down for no reason. There's lots of reasons, lots of benefits that could be had by burning it down. So I would just say there's a whole morally complex situation and arguments as to why it makes sense beyond simply whether or not Verso wants it one way or another. But,
exactly. And I think this brings us succinctly to beyond the actual philosophical arguments here. Brings us to what actually happens in the fucking endings.
Okay.
Do you want to start with the first ending or the Mael ending?
I guess let's talk about the... let's do the Verso ending first, I guess. I mean, we've kind of covered it already, but if you want to, like, summarize it, go for it.
Verso's ending, when he, you know, just like Nate said, when he talks to the shards, and the shard, you know, nods, the world's let go, it's destroyed, the painting is gone. We get, you know, a cut to the real world with the family in front of the grave, all of them united, the ghosts of our fellow party members waving them happily goodbyes. And there's, somber but cheerful music about, looking forward to the future.
It does seem rather cheerful, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. These dead people that we have established across this podcast, that they are real and sentient and have just fucking died.
I think so, yeah.
All of their ghosts just kind of appears, and they kind of wave happily at Mael, being like, you've made the right choice. Burning down the last remnant of your dead relative is objectively the correct option. Grief is not about process, guys. Grief is about letting go totally. Forget that person ever exists. Fuck them. Die, please. We need to move on. Please grab all of their stuff and toss it in the trash. That's what the game says in the fucking verse ending. And that's why I fucking hate it. Because,
all right, I feel some people read a little bit too much into like the broader implications of the specifics of this. I know art is meant to be interpreted, but like, there by definition there's multiple ways to interpret it, and I don't think that the argument actually is. And look, people accuse me of being a little myopic with stuff like this, but like, I don't think the game is saying never be sad for that long about like a dead relative, because that's like stupid and you should feel bad about it.
By literally burning down the last remnant of his soul, I think that's pretty. I think that
this is a question of artistic interpretation, though, and if I interpret it differently, am I wrong? I don't think so.
Objectively wrong. I am right. This is the internet genius. Only correct opinions. By being on the seats, there is no opinions. There's only correct ones.
But what happens when two geniuses disagree? That's a tough one.
I think the universe just splits into two quantum states where we're both right.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Two endings, if you will. Choose your ending. Nate's ending or Noni's ending. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, but in that ending, it is beyond the interpretation of like, is the game saying burn down all of your dead relatives' memorabilia and forget about them? Realistically, no. That's how it appears. Because the reason I emphasize the kind of somber, happy music, them waving goodbye at you, smiling, because the fucking Mael ending is like the spookiest shit possible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
When you choose Mael's ending, and she like, kills Painted Verso, she revives him later, and she like defeats him in honorable combat, and the world continues. We cut to this fucking cutscene, all in Dutch angles, all in black and white, of Painted Verso, just sadly playing the sad, spooky music, as we honestly do cut to all of our dead characters from across the entire game.
They seem happy.
Yeah,
they seem happy.
All of
Verso does not seem happy.
Yeah.
And we have to remember the line that Verso was saying. He kept saying, like, I don't want this. I don't want this, as like he was fading away. And Miles was like, it's okay, little boy.
Yep.
It's okay. I'm just going to make you dance as long as I want to.
And then we cut to Mael, and then we see like the painted line over her eyes, which is the thing that her dad and Painted Verso were talking about if you spend too long in a painting without leaving, you're gonna like be essentially
you'll get
like,
fucked up and die or something.
Yeah, you're gonna. The implication is like you get like assimilated in a sense, or
Yeah,
like you can't
yeah.
leave anymore type shit. Like your actual body starts to suffer.
Right.
Yeah, which is like.
By
again,
the way, your body is still there in real life. It's like
Yes.
standing in front of the painting, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right. Just check.
Because like we talked about a bit, time in the paintings is like it passes like it's not even like the implication was not like, hey Mael, if you spend a decade here or whatever, it's gonna be bad for the real world. It was more like if you spend here too long, it's kind of over for you. You'll be kind of like stuck here or something like that.
Yes. So bad things will happen if you're here too long of some kind.
Which I think Mael's ending betrays the entire point of the game, because Mael's whole
maybe a little bit. They
whole-
should have been more soft with it. They should not have made it so obvious.
It looked cool, I think, but at the same time, it's like, because Mael's whole thing, like, she gets asked this by other characters, and also when you do the sick fucking side quest, when you like fight the painted version of Mael, that is God peak. When you do that, and Mael's like, I just want to do my own thing, type shit. Like, Mael's whole argument, when she becomes God and she does all of this, and she's like, and she talks to, Painted Verso after he betrayed her, and she wants to fight her dad. Her argument to Verso is not like, hey, I'm going to stay in this world. This world is actually better than real life, and I want to live in it. No. Her argument is like, here's the thing, Painted Verso. I get it. Mom fucked up. What happened to mom is bad. Us defeating her is a good thing. She needs to, be fucking kicked out of the world. I disagree with Dad burning the whole place down. That's why I want to stop. I want to stop him from burning the place down, and then we're going to grab the painting and just hide it from him and from mom, and I'll occasionally hop in. Because, I've lived here for 16 years, essentially, That's her argument. Okay. And that's the thing that gets Painted Verso to even help you fight Renoir. Because think of it this way, Nate. Painted Verso could have just sat around and let Renoir kick her ass, but he didn't.
I mean, he could have fought against her actively if he wanted to. He could have, yeah.
But he didn't. He kind of just, you know what, sister? Fine, I'll help you out. And then at the last moment, he's like, I love you, but also I think this is the correct choice. We're at an impasse. Let's have honorable combat. Whoever wins, it is what it is.
I mean, I think it was reasonably well set up that it was, I was not blindsided at all that, he made this choice.
No, me neither, because Verso, spoiler alert, did you do the Verso side quest?
I did them all, but yeah, what about it?
The Verso side quest, when you find out that he could have saved Gustav, that him letting Gustav die was intentional, so he could take his spot.
Yep, he let him die on purpose. I think his reasoning, did he say so that he could take his...
Yes.
Because you could just join the party. I mean, he doesn't know that there's a 5-character limit to the party in real life.
No. Obviously, gameplay-wise, there's to have 5 characters, but in the game, he's like... when you ask him... Because Maya literally just asked him that question. He's like, yes, I specifically let him die so you would want to get revenge for him against Painted Renoir. And Painted Renoir is protecting the Paintress, so I wanted you on my side 100%. So his death was a benefit to me. He's just like, yes, I knew he would die and I let it happen to manipulate you.
I mean, yeah, and, he did that, and is that fucked up? I mean, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. It was all for the sake of this grand narrative that I'm arguing for, which is that it made sense to do what needed to be done, including let the people in this world die, because it is for a higher cause and to get past this issue of what I think, I do think that the world is doomed no matter what. I do think that it's fucked up to continue to enslave, what's his face. Now, that being said, it is pretty fucked up to let Gustav die. That, probably wasn't necessary. But in the grand scheme of things, when he's actively trying to get everyone killed anyway, he is morally compromised to some degree. No doubt about it. That's definitely true.
The only time in the entire game where Verso actually is on your side is when Mael is like, hey, help me fight Renoir. And he, for that stretch of the game, kind of just, I'll help you, sister. You know what? And it also, there is the implication of, again, Verso loved his sister. Verso cared about her so much. So, when Mael actually just appeals to him in the sense of, you have to help me stop that. He just does it because he loves his sister. So he just helps her out. Even though at the end he changes his mind.
Okay, this is the thing about Verso. And this does get to my point about Renoir. I'm officially dubbing Renoir. Boo! He is an internet genius because Renoir was right about everything. As far as I'm concerned, his arguments just make sense, are correct. Killing everyone was based and red-pilled. It had to be. I wish I could have pulled the trigger personally. I would have been in there. I would have been a smile on my face. It would have been great. No. Renoir was making decisive action. Renoir is a matriarch. No doubt about it. And Verso is like a little mini matriarch following in his dad's footsteps, doing what he can. Okay, Verso was a fucking man. Verso stepped up to the plate to make a decision that he thought was right and do what had to be done to protect the people that he thought could be protected and set right injustice. Dude, when the final moment happens and he switches off the painting and painting Verso goes, and Monoko and Esquier come out and the 3 bros stretch out their arms and hug each other and just say goodbye. These men are like, I get it. Yeah, we understand. I feel like they all kind of knew what was coming. I think Monoko knew. I think Esquier maybe didn't understand, but these guys knew.
Monoko and Esquier knew. When you ask them about this whole Verso betrayal, they give it to you straight. They're like, here's the thing, Mael. We like you because you're Verso's sister. And... But we're Team Verso. If Verso decides that the world should end, it is what it is. That is...
Okay, well, sure. They could be just going along with what, their friend says is the right thing. And that's fine.
Because
that's loyalty. That's yeah, right. And they say that they'll do what Verso wants. He's their buddy. This is honorable. This makes sense. It brings a fucking tear to my eye that they just understand what's going on here, and they submit with standing on their 2 feet and going out with pride. Okay, go ahead.
I think just like all slaves, all the slaves of what's right and what's not, they should have had more trust in their funny little sister, because at the end of the day, she fucking fought the Painters and won. She fought her dad and won. And in one of the endings, she fought Verso and won. She proved that she is capable of making the decisions on her own.
But no, I kind of feel guilty even bringing it up. But like, her ending is just shit. It looks horrific. It's a nightmare.
I really
it's
don't
obviously
get that.
wrong. It's obviously not the right choice to make.
Exactly. Like,
which I agree makes the discussion more boring. So it's stupider.
It is so. Because isn't it? There is like a part of me, a real part of me that's like, hey, I could go way harder on like why genocide is bad. Easiest argument, hey, genocide is bad, guys. Press on in the chat, genocide's bad. Damn, what an opinion. And I could just blow you out the fucking water, Nate. But the game just kind of agrees with you. The game is just like, yeah, Mael's point was, I'm going to find the third correct path. I'm not going to be like mom and be absorbed into this world of fiction. But I don't want to destroy the last remnant of my dead sibling or, this entire civilization full of people I've lived with for 16 years. I don't want to do that. And then her ending happened. And it's just like, actually, she just lied. She just lied. And I guess it wasn't based enough to not resist.
She just wasn't strong enough. She just wasn't strong enough. And I do kind of think that they're making the point that, like, guys, she's like a child. Like, she really doesn't know everything about the world. She, like, barely has a grasp on her painter powers.
I don't think so.
And entrusting her to... That's the thing. It sets you up to treat her like she's a typical anime protagonist that will solve everything, and then is like, actually, she failed, and it did not work, and it got fucked up, and she's, like, addicted and seems to have ruined her life, potentially. Because you let her do it. Yeah.
Here's the problem, Nate. Here's the problem that I think that fucking interpretation rules, and that interpretation is fucking based. The game in its entirety does not set you up for this at all, especially when you do the side quests and you kind of like get a little bit more, especially like the Alicia side quest, which this is her mom's interpretation of her. So she gets to like essentially fight her dad's interpretations of her and her mom's interpretation of her. And like, when you spoiler alert for like the side quest with Alicia is like, hey girlie, I just want to have a big fight. I want to like have combat and prove I'm stronger than you, and that's it. And when you do that, there's just like, they shake hands and that's it. There's no like, I'm gonna help you or Verso is, dude.
Right, it's decisive murderous combat.
Also, there is this real interesting part that we get like a little insight here about painted Verso from Alicia, which is painted Mael. Alicia is like, hey, Verso is a little bit too extreme, a little bit too unhinged. He thinks what he knows is best for me, which is not true at all. Like, Verso thinks...
Well, that's debatable, whether it was right or not, and who knew what was best, and who,
I think that's the point of the game, Did the painters knows what was best for the world? Did Red One knows what was best for the painters? Did you know what was best for your mom and dad? Did Verso know what was best for the world? I think that is a pretty big point of the game. It's like
it definitely is, and it really reminds me of like, so it's not that there's nothing bad that happens in the Verso ending either, because we haven't even mentioned it, but like it's not that big a moment, but like, when you kill your boys, they sort of understand and they die willingly. But the girls, it's a very different story with Lune and Ciel. Ciel, this actually was where I was like, okay, this medium of like motion capture is working for me, because it's like interesting. Ciel like walks out to like confront you. I was like scared of her when this was happening. I think she was like, you have just murdered me. You are a complete monster. That her body language is, you have to kind of interpret it, because she doesn't actually say anything, but she's just like staring at you with this intent gaze, knowing that you have just killed everyone. And it's true. You've killed her. You've ruined any chance of her like having like reviving her husband. He's gone. Yeah, and by the way, I banged both these girls in the game, so like, whoops, that's quite a betrayal.
Also, that's another
Sorry,
part
ladies.
of it. Like, because again, I mentioned it before. After Verso fucking kills the universe, but actually Mael like put a stop to that. Like, they're like, hey man, you killed us. That's fucked up. And he's like, it is what it is. And they still like forgive you, and they're like,
yes, they do.
They forgive you. That's when you have the real romance with them. I mean, it's not. There's not much romance. Just fuck them. That's mostly it, really.
What a state we're in now. But
yeah, right. Explicitly kind of just that, but also like it gets more romantic for 5 seconds, whatever. But like, they're like, hey, you betrayed us, but you know what? We'll give you a second chance. Everybody makes hard decisions. And here's the thing. You know what, Verso? God is real, and she's right there. And once we defeat this Renoir motherfucker, she can just fix the world. And isn't that just peachy? So all of your crimes, Verso, are kind of, not as bad. Because even though you killed Gustav, we can just bring him back to life, baby. God is real, and he's my best friend.
Okay, well, but only if you believe that she can and will fix the world with like no downsides. Can we be like, yeah, it solves all problems? I mean, one, we just know that didn't happen. But even if in the Mael ending, it was open to interpretation more so, which it still is a little, it just looks so fucking depressing and stuff. I would still make this exact same argument, even if it was more open-ended, because I still feel he's enslaving Verso. This world seems doomed to me. Mael should leave this world behind and go live a more fulfilling life elsewhere. But, okay, go on.
Obviously, because this game, a lot of motion capture, artsy game, if you watch the final cutscene, my interpretation, and honestly, this is, I think, what they were going for, because I'll bring it up right now. I think that's like, it's fucked up because of what's happening to Mael, rather than like, oh, but the world is actually doomed or something. It's not. Like, we see people smiling, we see Gustav alive, people are just fine, but Mael herself.
It's hollow and meaningless. It's
not hollow, though. It's really not. It's just like, Versus, painted Verso, sad that he's dead. Mael is like a bit fucked up. The world kind of just seems fine. And also, the directors. This is where I'm gonna be a little bit cheeky and bring in, author's intent, even though death of the author and all of that. When they're asked, hey, which one is like the happy ending or the best ending? They're like, oh, it's up to your choice. There is no actual like real correct ending. Which is like so bullshit if you actually watch the cutscenes. Like, this is so obviously.
I agree, it doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't. But as far as they're concerned, they're like, no, we meant it for it to be. Even in their speech, when they accepted the Game Awards, they were like, I know a lot of people are like, hey, this is the best ending. It's not. It was not an intention to like make one ending like look objectively better or not. That was not the plan, gamers.
Yeah, they fucked up. They definitely fucked up. They absolutely did.
But yeah, no, I guess the only thing that's left is for the comment section to be a hard R-based genocide's bad, indomitable human spirit. Yes,
I want to see I want to see a solid S. Guys, what happens at the end of Gurren Lagann? Do we just endlessly generate spiral power for all time? No, that isn't how you grow into a healthy person that has to recognize that there are limits to reality.
Versus a lying piece of shit who kills everyone.
Look, Verso may be an imperfect vessel. I'm happy to admit that. Nonetheless, he stepped up to the plate and made a tough decision that does make sense. It does. There are things that can be disputed here. You can make arguments that, like, you shouldn't kill people without, like, 100% confirmed information. I don't agree. I feel that it is crystal clear that Verso Soul does not wish to do this anymore, and this is a bizarre, fucked up existence it is being forced to continue on. If it was any other painting other than this one, where the painter wasn't dead and their soul was shackled to ongoing work, I would agree. But this is the situation, and this world can, will, and must end, and someone has to pull the trigger because these people will endlessly extend it forever until reality crashes in around them, and someone needs to be the bigger man and make the decision for them because they cannot fucking handle it. Except for Renoir, who's based in intellectual pilled, so he can handle it just fine,
absolute in shambles, genocide bad, truly basic bitch
Dude,
opinion. Hey guys,
Lune's staring at me, sitting down cross-legged and looking at me with her angry face. Bad. I feel bad, but...
They're gods, they'll create more paintings, please bow.
I don't minimize the lives of these people. I don't. They are full people with rights and whatever, lives and souls. I grant all of that. It's just that this must be done. It has to be done for justice.
It does not. It's the opinion of one suicidal man and one insane base Renoir.
Look at this. Look at this medicalizing of a man's rational thought process. A man's
kill everyone in his life.
To save his sister from a life of delusion and of slavery of his own soul, sort of. It must and it will end. And luckily for me, I got to play as Verso and make the right choice. So it's canon, folks. Verso was right. And it happened. So press S once again to spit on Noni's inferior
opinion.
Please
press the hard odd, please. You know, a capital R counts for 2 votes.
Yeah. Well, again, okay, people, you've now heard the arguments. You can decide for yourself what you think makes more sense. I mean, I think we really went over pretty much every argument that you can about this.
Yes.
Is there any other aspects about this that we haven't touched on?
Yes. I think there's a little bit. It just take a couple of minutes. There's a fascinating concept that I do not know the name of, which is like related to this, which is like, here's the thing, Nate. I ain't like a dumb baby little child, etc., etc. I see like the addiction metaphor, the indulgent, etc., etc.
Not accepting your brother's death,
and not accepting your brother's death. Yeah, I see all of that. It's just wrapped in this high concept of like, but they're also gods. And also, they can live in this world for years, basically without consequences, as long as they don't abuse it. Like it is weird. It is weird. Like I see the point. I see the thematic point, but the actual mechanics of it are like kind of just weird. Kind of just like, yeah, but if this existed, it wouldn't be that big of an issue because I'd just be like, hey man, it's just like it's like a video game. It's like a video game in real life. Hey, man, I play games. I don't play games all day, every day. I play them sometimes. I'm not like...
Well, I agree with you. I think that is a fairly apt comparison.
Yeah. Like, it's weird to be like, yeah, but it's so bad that they're doing this. And I'm like, hey, man, a lot of a lot of things in real life are pretty addictive, I guess. But also 90%... Like, majority of people don't also fall into that addiction. Video games... musics, like just shopping stuff, like a lot of things. They're just like, people. Okay,
but it's not really an apt comparison to compare it to like the kind of video game that you and I would just like play randomly.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, some people still get stun locked by in their lives, and gambling. Yeah, like a better example would be like honestly like drugs or maybe gambling or something like that. Because she's immersed completely in a different world, and blah blah blah, all this stuff.
Perhaps so. It's just the mechanics of these pieces of fiction. Sometimes the mechanics trump the metaphor so beyond that I'm like,
okay,
she's
a technical versus thematic issue, you might say.
Perhaps so. I think
my old
that
video,
is
go check it out.
I was watching like a show. I don't remember the name of it. It was one of those like they go into a video game type shows, and like it made this
Sword Art Online. The greatest anime of all time?
Absolutely not. That's peak masterpiece, has no criticisms to it.
Code Lyoko Chads? Stand and be counted?
Code Lyoko-based Chads. But it was like, they go to like this world and like exist in it, and the whole point of it was like, hey, isn't it so bad and crazy that they're like so immersed in this world and, abandoning their real lives, etc., etc. But in the actual show itself, it's like, hey, when they go to the game world, time in real life just pauses. Like, they could spend 100 years in this fictional world, and, like, no time passes in real life. And I'm like, well, that's different. Like, that's, like...
It is different.
That's different. Like, you're spending 100 years. You kind of, like, figured out immortality. And you're like, well, actually, it's a bad thing, though. You see that they, live here 100 years in, like... complete comfort and power, and they don't really care that much to like go back to their wagey cuck job. And I'm like, it kind of muddles in the message a little bit.
Okay, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because this sort of gets into the sort of more meaty substance of that aspect of like, is it even really a problem? Let's even say that Mile would like never die, and like it would be totally great and whatever. Maybe like a little time passes while she's in there, but not much. Okay, so that's all fine. But like, this actually does come back, really, to the greatest video game of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which people have been debating about since it came out, because in that game, It's so funny what happens in that game. You go into a like fake video game world in like a book or whatever, where like they were reading a book about Final Fantasy. Oh, we get transported in. The isekai. Okay, great. Okay, in the Final Fantasy world they get transported to, your character Marsh is like, this is not real life. This is a book. I have to get us out of here. Meanwhile, your brother Doned, or Doned, whatever, who is crippled, can walk in this world. The girl, she's got like her hair's like gray for some reason. She like, it's pink in here. So she just like has better self-esteem. Again, it solves her problem in this world. Mute, the main guy, like his mom's dead. Now in his case, his mom was replaced by like a demon that was like controlling the whole thing. So like but that's a good example, right? That's not real. That is fake. That is not his mom. And he's in here like pretending that like role playing as though his mom's still alive. He is in fact not getting past the fact that his mom is really dead, and he really needs to cope with that in some way, because this Final Fantasy world they're in will not last forever. And if he just spends his time in here role-playing that his mom's alive and cuddling up and suckling on her teeth, guys, he's only a 25-year-old young guy, okay? He still needs that milk to grow up big and strong. It's not weird. It's totally normal. We endorse suckling at ages 45 plus here on Internet Genius. It's the intellectual thing to do. Homelander endorses this message. Oh, God. I'm dying. It's not helping him grow in a meaningful, real way in real life, because this world will end. And it is not actually healthy to spend all your time in here. Even in your example, let's just say, where you just go into a video game world, you're aware the whole time that what's happening in real life is not happening in here. But like, I think it's fair to say, we can just say that everything that happens in a video game is not particularly meaningful. It's fake. It's not real. And let's use an example where we're like, okay, they're not ensouled people in this video game. It's like, I don't know. Well, it's like whatever. It's like, maybe they're alive, maybe not. We know that they're part of like a fictional world. Okay, so like we're not worried about like their souls. We're only worried about the person that's actually isekai'd into this. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but like here's the thing. I think all the examples that bring up all have like a catch. You know what I mean? All have like a...
This game is a catch. There is a catch to this game.
Yeah. Okay, but the catch is like, oh, but she'll die eventually. Maybe. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, all right. Right, let's put it aside. All right, let's take your example. Let's just put it aside. Let's say there's no catch.
I have an actual
let's examine that.
Example of this. Of like a real like...
Sure, what's that?
In... God,
Genshin Impact?
Nope,
logging in every day?
Persona 5.
No downside.
In Persona 5 Royal.
Okay.
The sort of like DLC expansion thing that they do sometimes when they do the definitive editions of or whatever. The main villain, whole plan is like, I'm going to become God, and I'm going to make sure that everybody's wishes are going to come true, okay?
Right.
Now, here is what Persona 5 does, the thing that kind of this game does and that like other show I just mentioned does, okay? It's like, okay, here's the thing, Nate. He's going to create this world. He became God. He's going to, make everybody's wishes come true, correct? Like, you think
seemingly,
it's like,
yeah.
Is it fake? The first stage of this, is it fake? Is it real?
Yes, big yes on that one.
Yeah, no,
yes.
It's like, is it fake? Is it an illusion? Is it real? Are there like negative consequences? Are we gonna die secretly, like Mael or something? And then Persona 5 is like, nah, not really. It's like, dude, he's literally God. He's gonna change the physical, like, fabric of the reality we live in, physically. For people to achieve those desires. Example, one of your party members has like a leg injury. He's a runner. He can't run anymore. Now his leg is fine and it's cool and based. One of your other party members, her mom is alive. And in the game's text itself, it's like a problem. It's like, is this like a shadow or like a fake mom? Nah, dude, that's just her mom, because he's literally God at the moment. So it's just like, nah, bitch, it's real. Example.
Okay, all right, I'll just grant it. Okay.
Hey, that's how the game presented. It's up for debate if you really read the text, but like, it's like, that's the general vibe of it. Another example is like, some bad things happen to some characters, some real extreme, like, bad,
a girl gets raped, as I recall, right? They get raped and, okay, got it.
That gets deleted. She's just like, she doesn't remember that. Nobody remembers that.
Sorry, ladies, you will be raped by your teacher. We're switching it back, baby. This is signed by the main character of Persona 5. Hell yeah.
That doesn't happen. She doesn't remember that. And that's like, it's like, Now, the game goes on in classic Persona kind of bad writing to have the message be like, yeah, but she got over it. Therefore, who are you to take away the fact that she was fucking raped, buddy? And it's like the sort of friction for me, Nate, that it comes to like...
Okay, I understand.
You know, it's like, I get the message. I get the message about like, ooh, don't indulge, don't be fake, blah, blah, blah. But also at the same time, this person we did just kind of re-rape her, essentially. Is that like cool?
Yeah,
you know what
we
I
sure
mean?
did, buddy. We sure did. Okay, look, I understand your point. People have been debating that for a long time. Look, let's just cut to the core of what the issue is here. There's a dividing line here about a materialistic evaluation of what's going on in reality here versus a slightly more spiritual or esoteric or philosophical view.
Yep.
And it really just comes down to how much you value the truth, reality. Personally, I put a massive, massive stock in reality, as the good book tells us to do, gentlemen. Cross up right now. Press S to say, I love you, Jesus Christ. Something like that, all right? We've got Christ on our side right now, Noni.
Hey, man.
Truth, man. That's the issue here.
I'm also like I'm a goober. I'm like, hey, man, yeah, obviously this is a video game world. It's fake. It's whatever. It is what it is. But when, like, these stories are like, yeah, but she's God, though. Yeah, but he's God, though. Yeah,
okay, look, they're appealing to this thing about how playing God is bad and you shouldn't do it. That is what they're, like, leaning on as, like, a narrative hook, as a narrative beat. You should not mess with reality because it's not your right to do it, which I mean, we don't face this conundrum in real life, luckily. We're not rewriting the fabric of reality very often. So it doesn't fall to us much, but in video games, it does come up. And,
it does come up. It's just sometimes I feel the writers in the eternal chase to be subversive or be considered smart or cool. They kind of just like remove these narrative safe lines for themselves. Like here's the thing, like Final Fantasy, Nate. I think personally, it's fucking based. That the game is pretty explicit. This world is fucking fake and it's gonna end. I think that's a strong point in favor of the game. I think these new cucked writers being like, actually, it's really not fake, are just weakening their own messaging, personally speaking. Like, straight up.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of a different scenario if they want to say, like, no, these people are real. They're real in this world. And so, like, there's not much downside. Look, you've just got to take it on a case-by-case basis. Like, basically, just re-listen to this whole podcast and cram it down into 1 millisecond, blast it into your ear at maximum volume, and you'll understand my point and why I'm correct about everything. Like, yeah, it doesn't mean that they're not alive or, like, not real people in the world. It's just that there are lots of other considerations that go into this question beyond simply that point, and you have to think them through to, like, have a serious, philosophically, cohesive analysis about what's the right decision to make here. And there's lots of points. There's lots of points of contention. There's lots of details that matter. And so, we don't need to relitigate everything we said here, but, like, in something like Persona, it's basically objectively saying it's undoing a lot of bad things that have happened. And it is sort of appealing to, like, you shouldn't really mess with reality in that way, which is, like, generally true. And I think what it really is I think this is where the metaphor, the mechanics of, like, even the story there are coming into conflict with the message that the creators want to tell, which is just that in real life, you just have to embrace reality and not endlessly run from it, because that, like, will not lead you down a bright, happy path in life. You've got, like, if you got molested, not a good thing. Everybody's very sorry about it. But, like, pretending you didn't, to me, doesn't seem like the right way to handle that situation or whatever. But, what the fuck do I know about it? I'm just saying, generally speaking, you gotta live in truth. You gotta live in reality, and that's generally preferable to living in lies and illusion.
It has the same thing. This is a whole separate conversation. It has the same thing with, like, time travel stories.
Yes, like, right. Same stuff.
Same stuff with, like, but returning to the past and changing it is, like, always objectively a bad thing.
Except in Back to the Future, where in the first movie,
Steins
all
Gate.
they do is make the world better via time travel. But crucially, Marty didn't intend to do that. That was not his intent. It was just a random thing. So I'm defending my boy Marty. He did nothing wrong. He did everything right.
But, like, I just think it's a conflict of interest to introduce too much complexity if you're trying to hit a certain team. I think teams land better when they're a bit more, like, direct and sort of cutthroat and like Gurren again. It's like pretty explicit about what it is, etc.
It's
like,
very clear about what's going on.
Hey, Steins Gate, the time travel is a literal mechanic. He exploits the shit out of it. Obviously, he needs his like emotional growth to actually fully solve the problem. But there is no like, but his time travel is fake though, actually. No.
Right.
That's a mechanic that he uses, and it's like established, and we're in it. These other sort of things are like, but like, you see, he shouldn't have time traveled. Actually, as to this weird like, he shouldn't have, but he literally made everything better though.
I hear ya. When you cut against a mechanic and stuff like that, it definitely can weaken the story. It's just that I think that I've got to defend like Expedition 33 a little bit here, because like this is just the theme from top to bottom baked into the story, and I respect it. I respect that it's like, no, they're alive, and decide if you want to kill them or not. And I'm like, pushing button rapidly, kill. Let them all die, right now, kill them, revive them, kill them again. I just want to watch them bleed out. It feels so good. That's
my patriot blood is boiling.
Press S.
No, but I agree with you. Again, my whole point with this entire like discussion is like, I think the game executed everything, in my opinion, like pretty fucking well.
We're the Slayers. Press S to slay. We love slaying. We're the Slayers. I got the meme.
You gotta fight for justice.
Slay,
press
boys.
R. Press R.
No, hard R's. Hit the R's too.
The game conveyed its message so like honestly succinctly for the type of game it is. It was kind of shocking and surprising. Up until like the literal like actual final cutscenes, which is one of them is like happy waving, and the other one is spooky Dutch music, and I'm like,
I wouldn't have done that personally. I was a little bit brain dead. It was a little bit brain dead to do that approach.
Yes.
So fuck you guys. Silk Song's a better game, motherfuckers. Silk Song mogs your ass, French. Get used to it. There's a lot more of that coming in the future for you. I'd be very interested to like see the next game and be like, so, like, are we confirming, like, which ending happened here with, like, what if it just, like, validates one of the endings and, like, decanonizes the first one? By the way, which, unfortunately, Silk Song did do. We know that most of those endings are not canon now in the the Hollow Knight, so, always an issue with sequels.
Hey, they're making a sequel
like, to a game that had multiple
Obscure.
endings.
Again, they are making a sequel to the Obscure series, I guess.
Right. I'm gonna play as Clea and mold Clay, you know? Ha ha ha! Yes!
Presumably
Nailed it.
It is. Like, there is a lot of sequel bait.
Well, there's just a lot of mystery left to be done. Look, if I could get my way, I just would not expand on this world at all. I think that it told a great story and it's good. Like, what are they gonna do? Oh, we fight the writers now. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's gonna be like a new story about, dude, all that they can add at this point is to fuck up, like, the ending of the first one, to, like, either lean on one side or the other, whereas, like, we've had a great discussion about this, and I really liked experiencing it and thinking about it on my own over, like, a period of, like, a couple of days after I beat it. That was good stuff, and the sequel's just gonna be like, she's, she stayed in the painting and it's still alive, so hooray, mile cells, you win, you're better than the
honestly,
monsters.
If I had to think, I think the next game would just be, like, the sister against the writers, and that's probably it. And then we're gonna get. You
think they're not gonna throw Mael in there? She's gonna show up.
No, Mael's
it's gonna happen.
Mael's gonna show up as like a based final cameo, like how the Knight showed up in Silk Song. I think that's
which will validate the ending of the first one, because it's gonna confirm.
It is what it is.
Probably will. We don't know that for sure, but it probably will do that, because that's just what happens. So. Yeah.
Also, holy shit! I didn't even mention this. I think they're also gonna do in the sequel. Hey man. The people in the painted world are based on real people. So, like, we will, like, see probably as a cameo maybe, like, the real versions of, like, Gustav or whatever.
Real Gustav could be in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, now, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Gustav can live on in our hearts and minds, everybody.
Gustav is so much more based than Verso. Holy shit.
No. Verso is a man
based.
who stepped up and did what had to be done. Look, nothing against Gustav. Gustav's a hero. Gustav is a war hero who I deeply respect, but Verso is the man who got it done. The man who cleaned up the painting. The man who saved his sister. He's better than a god because he saved a god and he allowed her to live the full existence that she was meant to against her own will, because she was having an extended woman moment. From the top rope, here comes Versailles.
Classic man behavior. Control the women. Control the women.
Paint. Curb stomps her ass. Just like, I'm sorry, Mel. I had to do it for her own good. Curb stomp. I'm sorry, Mel. Unloads around. Slice her fucking half. I love you so much, Mel. Bam, bam, bam. Now that's my guy right there. That's the ending that I believe in. And that's why he also is an internet genius. It had to be done. You and Renoir, Verso, we love you guys. I can't speak to real Verso. He may or may not be based in Red Pilled, but we certainly know that painting Verso is based in Suicide Pilled, just like me for real. Suicide is badass. I rest my case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
the episode
it's up to
ends
you.
right now.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Patreon.com/internetgenius. Give us more money. And we're going to the moon, baby, to the stars. But there may be a limit at some point that we have to recognize. What's that?
Bonus episode next week, right? That's what.
Bonus episode coming extremely soon. That's true. Guys, sign up for money right now. $5. Bonus episode is coming. We're filming it like very soon. We're going to give you all kinds of dope, interesting information about the creation of Internet Genius. I'll show you hilarious assets. Guys, you're not going to believe what the original name and concept of the show was. It's fucking hilarious. I showed Melanie. Dude, the original artwork, we got to make like a piece of artwork for the show that like looks kind of like the original artwork. That, well, I'll tell you all about it. Come listen to the bonus episode, guys. It's fascinating stuff, and we'll talk more then. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode of fucking Internet Genius. Woo! Thanks for being here.
Goodbye.
See you. Goodbye.
Work sucks, food's cold, no sleep, getting old. Maybe it's time to figure it out, thinking up what life's about. I need Internet Genius, bringing all the best ideas.